what she said. She's magical, mystical, a powerful wonder girl.
Welcome back to What She Said. We've all experienced the discomfort of leaving the house with a bad acne breakout, a scar, or dry, flaky skin brought on by cold weather. And our next guest has some tips for people with common conditions like eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, and just dry winter skin to help them feel comfortable inside and out. Welcoming relationship expert and media personality, Dr. Kimberly Moffat, to What She Said.
Well, hello. How are you?
Welcome.
It's so great to see you.
It is great to see you too. Now, we want to get right into this because for a lot of people, these issues can make simple tasks like leaving the house for work or social activities a daily battle to maintain their self-esteem. Does mental health have a significant connection to skin conditions?
Absolutely. You know, the way we feel about ourselves is so tied in with how we interact with the world. So whether we're going to a job interview or dating or in a relationship, making new friends. And so for all of us, if we feel good, we're going to have a great experience. Sometimes these things can be hard, but when you throw a skin condition into the mix, if you got acne or rosacea or psoriasis, that really can take a toll on your self-esteem and can actually interfere with the way you are in the world. And so mental health and skin conditions are correlated. And, you know, I think it's really tough for the people who are going through these conditions.
And also another one that, is cold sores. When you see, and often the media, a model walks the runway with a cold sore. I can't remember which one it was, but she was really taken to task. It's like the poor girl had a cold sore. There's not much you can do about that.
Definitely. And I think a lot of these skin conditions have misconceptions behind them. So for example, with psoriasis, a lot of people think that it's contagious or that it's something that comes from like a lack of hygiene, when really it's not. It's something that starts on the inside, and it's just a reaction to something that's happening in the body. The skin cells are developing more quickly than they would be. They develop in about 5 or 6 days, as opposed to normal skin, which is about 30 days to develop.
Right.
So it's just the skin's kind of an inflammatory response that happens to that. And so it doesn't really have anything to do with what that person is doing.
And a lot of those conditions manifest on the face, which is the first thing that people see. So it's not a condition like other conditions that maybe are hidden under clothes. So you're looking in the mirror before you walk out the door, and that's what you see, and that's what you think everybody's going to focus on.
Exactly.
Now, we have some stats from the Canadian Association of Psoriasis Patients. Mood disorders, including depression and anxiety, are present in up to 30% of patients with dermatological conditions.
Yep.
So that's a huge number. If they're going to get depressed, so depressed that it's, causing issues.
Absolutely. And I think specifically for psoriasis, those patients are 1.5 times more likely to actually develop depression. And for me, this is not really a surprise because it is such a visual condition. And like you were saying before, like it manifests either on your face or on your body. So if you're going on a date or if you're going to the beach and you want to wear a bikini and a lot of these things, you can't just live your life in the same way that, an average person would if they didn't have this condition. And I mean, you could, but you might have to face some awkward looks or awkward conversations. And what do you say to somebody when you're on a first date with them and they ask you about it? So I think part of it is having that response prepared and also figuring out what's comfortable for you, how to deal with that.
It's really quite alarming to think that the prevalence of anxiety in people with psoriasis is so much higher than the global population estimate. For other reasons, right?
Absolutely. And this is staggering too, just because of the sheer number of Canadians who actually have psoriasis. So it's 2 to 3% of the world's population, which is about 1 million Canadians. So if you think about that and just the high levels of anxiety that they experience.
Maybe we should take a step back and explain exactly what psoriasis is, because you've given us some information, but I realized it wasn't contagious, but what exactly is it?
Sure. Well, psoriasis is a chronic skin condition. It's a skin disorder. And the way that it manifests on someone's skin, so if you're not sure if someone has psoriasis, the way that you'd be able to tell is that they get kind of red blotchy patches on their arm, and those are covered with kind of thick silvery scales. And the way that it works is they can have kind of unpredictable flare-ups. So it might be really kind of under control for a while, but then something happens. Maybe it's winter weather, or maybe it's stress, and their condition can really act up. And it makes it really stressful for the people who experience it because they're not really sure when the condition is going to act up and in what way, or how their body's going to respond to treatment. The other thing that I think is really important is that as humans, we're social creatures. So this is kind of like playing into the psychology of things. When we have a relationship issue, for example, the first thing we're going to do is call a friend probably and talk to them about our issue and like get advice from them. But skin conditions are so personal and so isolating that even if we had the courage to call a friend, they're probably not going to be able to give us very good advice. So that's why people with psoriasis have such a hard time. And I think that's a large reason why they develop these mental health issues, is because they don't have anyone to talk to who can help them feel in control of the issue.
So what can people with skin conditions do to feel comfortable both inside and out this winter?
Well, I think the first step is to actually feel like you're in control of the condition, instead of what most people feel is that the condition is in control of them. They feel like
they're
a victim.
Yes.
Yeah, and that can be really tough. So empowering yourself is a really great way to feel better. And I think you can do that firstly by talking to your healthcare professional, like a doctor or a dermatologist, because they have all of the up-to-date treatments that can help you get help. And even if that means trying 2 or 3 different things before you get it right for you, that's definitely a step in the right direction.
Do you think there's a reluctance on the part of people suffering from skin conditions to do that?
Well, yeah, actually, a recent study showed that more than 50% of psoriasis patients hadn't seen their doctor in more than a year. So I think that it's definitely an embarrassing condition, and it's something that people have felt frustrated with the treatments or the route they've gone before. Maybe they've tried something and it didn't work out, and so they're reluctant to go back. But for me personally, I've had rosacea, and it took a few different tries to get it just right, to get things under control. But I don't regret it at all. I mean, working with my dermatologist was like the best thing I could have ever done to get things under control.
So it's a matter of having faith and having some persistence.
Definitely. Do not give up.
No, because it's 2017 or 2018, we're almost there.
Yeah.
And if we can, be sending people to the moon or Mars or wherever, we should be able to have something. And they're always coming out with new things,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And so in addition to like talking to your doctor, you can also get help from other patients who are out there and resources. So CanadianPsoriasis.ca is an amazing resource website where people can get help, support, resources.
Now, support, that seems important.
Yes, definitely. So having a friend or family member that's in your corner, that's kind of understood your journey, I think is really important.
Or even having an online conversation with somebody who's going through the same thing you are, because when things happen to us and we do feel victimized, you always do tend to feel like it's just you.
Yes.
But it isn't just you. It's a million Canadians.
That's exactly right. And so being able to learn and draw from the experiences of those other million people and kind of learn what's worked for them can help you not give up hope and can really make you feel empowered, which is really important.
And does food have anything to do with it? Or we were talking about furnaces earlier, and the fact that once the furnace goes on in the wintertime, you really are baking at 100 degrees for 6 months. And that probably aggravates things for many people, many conditions.
Well, there are many different things that play a role because, like we said, skin disorders are so personal, and different things can trigger or flare up your depending on who you are. So for some people, it's different foods or types of alcohol. It could be heat or cold. So there's a lot of different, or even stress levels play a role. So it's important to understand.
Go to your doctor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and know what works for you. I mean, if you notice that you have a trigger, just understand what that is and try to work that out with yourself.
So let's just remind people of the website to go check.
Yes, it's CanadianPsoriasis.ca.
Perfect.
Now, even in the winter, as soon as Christine nicely gave me an extra humidifier because she doesn't need one in her condo, but I've got them going like bedroom, living room, like all over because we have radiated heat. I find that my skin just changes so much with the dry heat, so I can't imagine what somebody that's already got that as a base mark, that it's got to make a difference. I think humidity and really helps. Even bowls of water just everywhere around the house as it dissolves. Well, this has been fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Kimberly Moffat, come on back anytime.
I would love to. Thank you so much.
This is what she said. Stay with us.
Well, she said she's magical, mystical, or a powerful wonder girl.